Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a very small law firm in central Minnesota. How are you guys doing? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, have we got some weird times going on. Oh my gosh. Guys, I am fatigued. And I realized what's going on. I've been puzzled over it for days now. What the hell? What is my problem? And then I realized and remembered that winter started really late this year in Minnesota. It was warm for quite a while. And because of that, I didn't really notice that it was winter, I think, or my body didn't. I have SAD or whatever, right? Like seasonal affective disorder. And it's always around December time when winter starts. And I don't know why. I can't figure it out. I think I was talking to someone one time and maybe came to the conclusion that it was related to December's when we moved from Texas to Minnesota. So I went through a lot of life changes right when I was around 10 years old, and maybe that stuck with me. I don't know. I don't do well in December for energy and for motivation and stuff like that. So now that I've solved that problem, that's what it is. I am just wiped out like every day. And last night, many of you will note that the stream went on for another 45 minutes after I turned it off. And that was because I turned off the camera and played the outro and muted my microphone and immediately fell asleep. I mean, immediately unconscious. It was beautiful. And then I woke up and the, whatchamacallit, the blackface screen was running and the chat is going. They're like, look at the boomer. I was like, oh, God. Ah, damn it. So I had to shut it off. And then, shut down the stream. But that's what happened. So, anyway, tonight, we've got a little bit of a show. I don't know, the topics are kind of weird right now. Topics are kind of weird because we had this election. There's a bunch of challenges to the election. There still are. People got kind of tired of talking about them. I got kind of tired of talking about them. Although, anything about the election and Trump is doing better video, like metrics wise, than just about anything else. So it's really frustrating because a whole bunch of people say, hey, we're tired of talking about this. But then that's what everybody flipping clicks on anyway. But we're not really talking about the election today, except tangentially related to the election is the first topic we'll talk about, which is Trump flexing on Congress. And Trump's flexing is pretty interesting in several ways. He's, oh gosh. Whew. Trump is, oh my gosh. Today he vetoed, now my hair is really weird. Today he vetoed the Defense Authorization Act, which is a $790 billion bill that is bipartisan. It is not related to the stimulus package, which was attached to the omnibus spending bill, which is a different $900 billion bill. And then there's another bill that is probably going on as well. And it is, you know, the amount of spending that our government does is phenomenal. But Trump has also threatened to veto the stimulus bill. Says the checks are not high enough. Which will be, oh my goodness. If I could stop, like, if I could just learn to breathe appropriately, I think I'd be fine. You missed the Italian look already? Yeah, that's what you get. You're never getting it again. You guys hurt my feelings, and I'm not going to do it. My feelings were hurt. They called me. My feelings said, hey, we didn't sign up for this abuse. We didn't do that. And I said, I know, but that's your job, is to take the abuse. And they said, no, we're not doing it. So there you go. Oh my goodness. So you want to know why I slicked my hair back yesterday? It's that guy's fault. What is his name? I'm so bad with names. Let me memorize. Let me get his name back here. I've got it. Where the hell did it go? Eric Hunley. Gosh, one day I'm going to remember somebody's name. Somebody somewhere's name. Eric Hunley, in his video interview of me, which if you didn't see that was on Monday. You should check it out. I'm going to have him on the show at some point, and I'll probably go back on his show. I had a really nice time with him. Seems like a good dude. Had good conversation. Anyway, the thumbnail that he put up was an old picture of me. And I had the slick back hair, and I had this shaved off. Just this. So I had the mustache and then back into the chops. And it was from a mud run. Do you remember when mud runs were like popular for a year or two? It was from one of those. And it was at, it was called the Titan. It was called Camp Titan or something like that, or the Titan Run. It was at Buck Hill in Burnsville, Minnesota. And it was me and some buddies, and we were Team Lumberjack. So it was good times. And I was in a flannel shirt. And I saw that, and I was like, oh, that was nice. I'll just do that again. And then you guys are like, haha, you're bald and dead and old and fat. I was like, geez, who am I, Catherine Tewson? This is disgusting. Mud runs, Pickle. Mud. Not mug runs. And anyway, it was Drex also in flannel. It was a run. Drexel doesn't run. What are you talking about? If you've ever seen him run, it's embarrassing. All right. So I need to do some super chats because there's some big ones there. And I think Gelf said he has to leave, so I'll read his. He says, and has the ability to make it go supersonic with sneezy power alone. Make what go supersonic? Ryan Krupa says, $50 says you're late and gay. You have a 5-second grace period, Rackets. Oh, but I was on time. I was early and hetero even. Take that. He did follow up with you, absolute madman. Here's an extra 5. Thank you for that. Captain Sharky says, wow, on time, so slightly less gay. Whew. Thank you. Glad to be slightly less gay. Bad Vibes says, as Trump say, I hope we never find life on other planets because there's no doubt that the U.S. government will start sending them money. Never can. It'd be terrific life, but better life is here on Earth. Here in the United States is the best life. Ryan Krupa says, another tip for you, buddy, old Medicare. Some of his dog-ass vodka, assuming the cancer hasn't, or for you to buy old Medicare some of his dog-ass vodka, assuming the cancer hasn't taken him yet. Well, he's either still alive or the government has created a tweeting simulation of Jim. God rest his mesothelioma-riddled lungs. But yeah, no. It would be good if before Jim died, if I could buy him a drink, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Hot man on man action says, hey, Nick, been a fan since the lawsuit and just wanted to thank you for turning me on to Scotch. Currently celebrating my 33rd birthday with an O-Band Distillers Edition. Ooh, that's a nice choice. Well done. Enjoy it, my friend. Enjoy it. I'm drinking the 1792 bottled in bond. Of course, I mentioned that I can't get foolproof in my town. And then a guy that I just saw at Road Rage messages me his store, and there's just bottles and bottles of foolproof 1792. It's like, oh, thank you. Thank you for that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're going to talk about Trump flexing on Congress. We're going to talk about political fallout from the KRAKEN, which is actually a little bit bigger sort of discussion that I want to springboard into, which is about politicians taking, or not politicians, well, kind of, lawyers taking these highly public, highly political cases and what that does and what the fallout can be, what the risks are from it. And that will be in the context of a short video I did just a little bit before the stream started about Lin Wood, who is currently under attack. Oh, hey, there's Ryan. Ryan, I don't know. People send them to me in the mail. It's technically not allowed, but people manage to do it anyway. Oh, hey, Emily's in the chat too. How's it going, Emily? Nice to see you. We need to talk again soon. But I will say that Lin Wood is under a political attack from his Delaware judge for actions unrelated to the state of Delaware. She is threatening to remove him from the Carter Page case, which is a pretty interesting development. It's loosely based in reality. I mean, I guess the court can revoke its pro hoc vice admission, but Lin Wood doesn't seem to have violated the terms of his own provision. So we're going to look at that. Yeah, Sheila, my P.O. box it's also listed in the description of the video. So we're going to go a little bit deeper than my video did into what the judge is having Lin Wood answer for. And then we're going to ask some questions about why in the hell he has to answer to a Delaware state judge about actions in Georgia and Wisconsin. Those don't seem to be things he would have to answer for. But what do I know? And the answer is not enough. Not enough, ever. But we'll look at that. And then COVID hypocrisy. Of course, COVID is... This got a warning label from the YouTubes. The COVID warning is on the video already, I believe. So that's there. But we're going to talk a little bit about some COVID hypocrisy because, it's always fun to point it out. It's always fun to point it out. That's all. And then, I don't know. Then we'll probably end the show. There might be other stuff to talk about. If you didn't catch it yesterday, Richard Meyer and Mark Waid, Meyer Vs Waid, that lawsuit, that may have been started in part because of this channel, actually, is over, is finito. So that is it's very kind of muted news. It fizzled out. And that's how it goes, and that's how lawsuits sometimes go. You know, sometimes they end with a big bang or a clap. Sometimes they just kind of sputter. So, yeah. But that did happen. Oh, also, guys, if you read the description, and I know almost no one does. And I used to write very, very elaborate descriptions, and now I kind of stopped. But I know almost no one reads them, and that's okay. But there is a plot against me. There is a plot against me by two masterminds. And I might need to pull it up. Here. See if I can find it real quick. Here it is. Whoa! Go to this one. Go. No. Oh my gosh. Let me put... If I could not be a boomer for just 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds, though. That would be great. Oh, here we go. This'll do it. Now I won't be so dumb. Okay. We're going to show you the, just this one. And here we go. Are you guys ready? This is the plot against Rekieta Law by two devious masterminds. Look at this. Ron Toye. 20 bucks is 20 bucks. I'm going to test that now. I didn't know he had that offer out there. Didn't know I had the offer out there. They're referring, of course, to the policy that I have of reading $20 super chats, which, don't tell them, it's actually any super chat that they all get read, okay? They all get read, but the $20 ones I just read first. But here you go. Here's a oh wait, let's get Bettik. Let's get Bettik's tweet here. Sorely tempted. I also still want to test Rekieta's representation that he will read any super chat for $20. We could get these guys to say some embarrassing shit for some lunch money. Oh no. No. Don't do it. Don't tell me. Don't pay me money to say stuff. That would be a disaster for me. And so then, yeah, Bettik, something about being a protector of free speech. He uses it to deflect blame when his fans make him say racist or insulting shit. I don't censor my fans. If they want me to say something, I'm obligated. It's just free speech. It's not free. It's 20 bucks. This is not free speech. This is expensive speech. Anyway, so there you go. Someday, maybe we'll get a visit from the Toye fairy. From the Toye fairy or the Catherine Tucson with her brilliant alter aliases. And they will come and make me say something embarrassing. Just wait 5 minutes and I'll manage it on my own. But, okay. Morty J says, recorded footage of what can be described as a fireball seen in Nanquin, China, with fun conspiracy theories about aliens being involved. I, for one, welcome our Saiyan overlords, or Saiyan overlords, and praise Prince Vegeta. What? What is this? This planet is pathetic. Oh my gosh. So that's the plot against me. I am just a humble servant of the internet, and I have people plotting against me. I don't know what I ever did to deserve it. But I did something. Kiwi goes live. Says, hey, Nick, I will be sending you some snacks in the new year. Also, I apologize in advance for the Ricada household riots over the honey butter chips. I just hope you have an Asian market nearby to restock. There is an Asian market. I just don't know if it'll have anything good. So. Whew. All right. I guess let's move into the topic. Do Vegeta lines as Vic?
Well, it's over 9,000.
How is that for you? Is that a Vegeta line as Vic? I don't know. All right, so here's the case. Now I did cover this in a short video, and I encourage you to watch it. Although it's not monetized, so who cares if you do? That was pretty cynical. Pretty cynical. Here we go. This is from the Above the Law blog. Now, Above the Law is a shitty legal blog that is overtly biased and pretty much dead to the left. I don't know how else to say it. They're pretty far left, in my opinion. Maybe someone disagrees with me and they can cite to me all the strongly worded conservative articles. And it's fine that they're left. It's fine that they're left. That's okay. I don't mean to insinuate that it's wrong. I just want people to understand biases. You should always understand the biases of the speaker, right? Like, that's useful to know. You guys know my biases usually. I think I am not usually coy about it. So hopefully you understand where I stand on pretty much any issue. It's over 9 inches in that voice.
It's over 9 inches.
No, I'm just kidding. Come on. Bad Vibe says, hey, Ron, watch this. Hey, Nick, who is paying an ungodly home insurance policy to pay for a lawsuit that they begged for? That would be Ron Toye. Ron Toye. And again, he better hope it doesn't come back on appeal, because if it does, his homeowner's insurance may not want to cover it. That would be funny. Alito's not going to approve an expedited hearing. He already shut it down. Who the hell's Nathan Larson? Okay, back to this. This is about Lin Wood. Lin Wood is representing Carter Page in a defamation case. Do you guys know who Carter Page is? If not, Carter Page was a worker on the 2016 Trump campaign. He also happened to be a Fed asset, a CIA asset specifically, and because he was a CIA asset, had contacts with Russia during the 2016 election cycle. However, Carter Page was also being investigated for having contacts with Russia. Okay? And so, since he had contacts with Russia, what happened was the FBI, the feds asked the other feds if Carter Page was a Fed asset. And the feds told the feds, yes, Carter Page is a Fed asset, and yes, his time as a Fed asset overlapped the time of communications with the Russians. All right? So one Fed said to another. Well, one Fed got that email, and they had already procured FISA warrants against Carter Page at this time. And when he got the email, on a warrant renewal request, he had to kind of update the status on whether or not they should still be wiretapping this guy. And the email said, yeah, he's a Fed. And so the Fed lawyer decided to erase that part of the email. Just change it. Just literally, like, so he, forwarded the Fed email to the other Fed. There's a lot of Feds here. Forwarded the Fed email to the other Fed, but he just changed one of the lines that went from Carter Page is a Fed asset to Carter Page is not a Fed asset. And so that justified the continued use of the FISA warrant. FISA warrants are foreign intelligence surveillance. So when you have foreign communications and with specific people, it gets higher and higher. The government may want to listen in. So Carter Page was alleged to have communications with some Russians that were on the no-no list of some sort. And because he's a Fed, and so when they used those to justify monitoring the Trump campaign. That's what happened. It was all a ruse. It was all an excuse to monitor Trump. They did it through Carter Page, and then some FBI lawyer modified an email, so they lied to the FISA court. He lied to the FBI technically, and he is convicted of that. Will probably be disbarred, and he might go to jail for a whopping month. For a month. Think about that. You go lie to the FBI and see how long you go to jail.
It's longer than a month.
He might not even go because his wife's pregnant. She's going to have a baby. How could he go to jail? But even so, the maximum sentence for this guy is 6 months. So, that's fine. But anyway. So Carter Page was wrongfully accused of being a Russian asset, being compromised and all that stuff. And Carter Page is now suing Yahoo News and Huffington Post, which has got to be scary for Huffington Post because they don't have any money. So Carter Page hires Lin Wood to represent him on the defamation. Lin Wood, apparently the greatest defamation lawyer in the history of mankind, although I know he successfully represented Robert Jewell. I'm not familiar with any of his other successful cases. He's, of course, representing the Covington kid, whose name eludes me right now, Nicholas Sandmann, representing Sandmann, and has gotten a couple settlements. With no details of those settlements, though, it's impossible to see if he's doing great or doing poorly. But Lin Wood is this now very legendary right-wing defamation lawyer, apparently. And he's representing Carter Page. Yeah, Robert Jewell is or Richard Jewell, whatever his name is, the guy who was accused of the Olympic bombing in Atlanta. All right. So here we go. Let's just read through this so you guys can get the biases of Above the Law in at the same time. Finally, notice they have a past due stamp here. After weeks of plastering the federal docket with garbage lawsuits, a trial judge in Delaware became so alarmed at attorney Lin Wood's antics that he issued a show cause order sua sponte, demanding to know why he should not revoke Wood's pro hoc vice admission to appear before the court. Okay. Sua sponte means on the court's own motion. So the opposing lawyer didn't motion for this. The judge just did it. All right. And then pro hoc vice admission is where you are temporarily admitted to a jurisdiction that you are not licensed. Lin Wood is a Georgia licensed attorney practicing in Delaware, requires permission of a Delaware court. Okay. As first reported by Law and Crime's Adam Classfield, Wood's representation of former Trump campaign aide Carter Page in a suit claiming defamation by Yahoo News and HuffPost has hit a snag. Page represented himself in a federal suit against the news outlet's parent company, Oath Incorporated, but U.S. District Judge Lorna G. Schofield failed to find the alleged violation of the Anti-Terrorism Act and tossed that suit in 2018, so Page retained Wood for a plain vanilla defamation suit in the Superior Court for the state of Delaware, and the attorney's pro hoc vice application was approved in August. But Page is not Wood's only client. Since the election, Wood has put his name on Sidney Powell's Wisconsin KRAKEN suit, in addition to filing challenges to Georgia's presidential and senatorial elections on his own behalf. Quote, "It appears to the court that, since the granting of Mr. Wood's motion, he has engaged in conduct in other jurisdictions which, had it occurred in Delaware, would violate the Delaware lawyers' rules of professional conduct," wrote Judge Craig A. Karsnitz, before going on to detail a litany of screw-ups. Now, Judge Craig A. Karsnitz was appointed to his position by a Democrat governor. I don't know if Craig Karsnitz is a Democrat. However, he was appointed by the Democratic governor of Delaware. All right. Among the failures in the Wisconsin KRAKEN advocacy, Judge Karsnitz specifically cited, quote, "adding a plaintiff without his knowledge or consent." Now, this is a Wisconsin representative that Lin Wood had listed as a plaintiff who came out and said, "I didn't consent to that." So who knows what the story on that actually is. Claiming to have filed papers under seal when this was not the case. I'm not here to make excuses for Lin Wood, but I want to point out something. Stuff like this actually happens. Filing, like you claim to file something under seal, but don't. And it's because you either get a procedural, technical process wrong. Like you don't pull the appropriate drop down, or you do something incorrectly. This is not actually, I mean, you don't want to do it. It can compromise a client. It could implicate your malpractice insurance if you're supposed to file something under seal and you accidentally file it under public. But do lawyers do it? Yes, on occasion. Do they get disciplined for it? Lin Wood hasn't even been disciplined for it. So who knows? Requesting a temporary restraining order without the required supporting affidavit. Oh my. Oh no. This is a procedural defect, which happens. You miss a step. A document doesn't get properly filed or whatever. Typically, what you do is you remedy the defect. This is not a disciplinable offense. Failure to certify that adverse parties had received notification. Now, this is a little bit interesting because what happened here is that Lin Wood, in his certification that people were served, he put, "They've been served at the following addresses," and just didn't include the addresses. So, again, a potential clerical error. Now, do you want these errors? No. Is this discipline worthy? No. The remedy for this is you didn't mention where they were served. Oh, I'm sorry. Something happened. I hit paste and then I hit cancel or whatever. So you go ahead and show where they were served. Maybe they weren't served. I don't know. But they're talking about failing to certify that they had received notification because they failed to put the addresses in place. Improperly pleading for expeditious injunctive relief. Yes, asking the court for something it didn't do. What is improperly pleading? We're asking the court for expedited injunctive relief. The court says, no, that's not justified here. Okay. So? Requesting a restraint. Wait, no, I read that one. Including a fabricated quote from a supporting case site in a pleading. This is interesting because Wood didn't sign that pleading. Someone else signed the pleading, and Wood is signed on to it. And I'll show you where that is, because here we go. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Yeah. That improper expedited thing. Let's look at the rule to show cause, okay? Because I think this'll describe it better than above the law does. Pursuant to Delaware Superior Court rule, blah, 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 blah. Lin Wood did this. Okay, the order granted Mr. Wood's motion, which contained the typical agreement to abide by all state and local rules, the Delaware lawyers' rules of professional conduct, and the principles of professionalism for Delaware lawyers. Notice that his pro hoc vice agreement doesn't say anything about Wisconsin's rules or Georgia's rules, but I digress. So it appears to the court that since the granting of the motion, he is engaged in conduct in other jurisdictions which, had it occurred in Delaware, would violate the Delaware lawyers' rules of professional conduct. So Freehan and Derek Van Orden versus Wisconsin Election Commissions. In the case, it appears that the suit was filed on behalf of a person who had not authorized it. The complaint and related papers had multiple deficiencies, as outlined in an order dated December 20th, issued by the Honorable Pamela Pepper. Here are the deficiencies. We kind of talked about this, but this lays it out better. The order indicated the filings had been forwarded to defense counsel at the following address, with no addresses listed. That is a deficiency in the form. Form deficiencies are remedied through amendment. Documents were allegedly filed under seal, but were not. The complaint requesting a temporary restraining order was not verified or supported by an appropriate affidavit as required by the court rules. So you either have to have a verified complaint verified by the client, or you have an affidavit from the client saying that everything in the complaint was true and correct to the best of their knowledge. The complaint contained no certification of efforts to notify the adverse parties as required by the court rules. Again, so they missed a court rule. Apparently, a motion for declaratory relief was filed in draft form. Oh, no. It was a draft motion for declaratory relief. Again, these look bad. Like, you don't want to have these errors, but they're just mistakes. And they might be related to the fact that these guys are filing hundreds of pages of lawsuits with 1 week timelines in multiple states. The papers filed in Wisconsin asked for various injunctive remedies, but did not ask for a hearing. Damn. And while the pleadings, including a proposed order, asked for emergency relief and an expedited injunction, nothing indicates whether the plaintiffs were asking the court to act more quickly than normal or why. So they titled it a request for an expedited injunction, but they didn't say it. Again, is this a disciplinable offense? No. Not in any way. It's just a defective document. Here we go. This is my favorite one. In a response to defendant's motion to dismiss, which was not signed by Mr. Wood, but which was filed while he was one of the counsel of record, a citation for a case, including a quotation, was found by the court to be fictitious. The citation was to a point of law critical to the case. So who knows who fucked up there? And that's a bad one. That is really bad to have a fictitious quote, although I'm guessing it wasn't fictitious. If I just had to put on my brain cap for a minute, it was probably a quote that's attributed to a different case than what is cited, most likely. But Lin Wood didn't sign that document, so it doesn't matter. He didn't do it. He's just counsel of record, and someone else did a bad citation and signed the case. Discipline that lawyer then. So then they have the Georgia litigation stuff. We'll go back here. And in Georgia, where Wood is a member of the bar, his own suit to stop Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger from certifying the election results was dismissed by U.S. Judge District Judge Stephen Grimberg, who described the claim as having no basis in fact or law. Judge Karsnitz suggests that this might be a violation of DRPC Rule 3.1, which bars lawyers from filing suit unless there is a basis in law and fact for doing so. No, it doesn't. This judge knows that this does not violate that rule of professional conduct. While Lin Wood may have screwed up in his Georgia lawsuit by filing it on behalf of himself, therefore, as a general voter and having screwed up on the standing issue, these are complex and novel cases before the court. These election challenges. We don't have a mountain of case law about this. So saying it has no basis in fact or law might be actually true. However, it doesn't mean that Lin Wood frivolously filed it or intentionally frivolously filed the suit. If he had a genuine belief that he had basis in fact and law for his claims, then he didn't violate the rule of professional conduct. And to get to where the important part of this is, anyone who has their case dismissed by an anti-slap for whatever, or for example, right, would be subject to the idea that they have no basis in fact or law. Is every one of those lawyers getting sanctioned or disbarred? No, of course not. Of course not. Okay. Judge Karsnitz was also deeply unimpressed with the infamous Ramsland affidavit. This is one we actually made fun of on the channel because it listed counties that where votes were off in Michigan. However, the county names were counties in Minnesota, including my county. So that was a mistake. Unimpressed with the infamous Ramsland affidavit regarding purported electoral fraud in Michigan, which Wood inexplicably filed in his Georgia suit, noting that the document contained materially false information, misidentifying the counties as to which claim fraudulent voting information occurred. And I don't know why that information is wrong. But that was, again, an affidavit submitted by someone else. And maybe Lin Wood should have caught it. But he's not the one testifying under penalty of perjury. Ramsland was. So that's another one where he's holding Wood accountable for Ramsland's bad affidavit. Now, again, should Wood have fact-checked the affidavit to the best of his ability? Maybe. I wonder what the explanation is for that bad affidavit. I'm kind of curious what the explanation was. Because I can see some reasonable explanations, but the explanation may be that he lied. I don't know. It was a bad affidavit to put in there because of the defect. Because it would be torn apart. And it was. Court wondered if its submission as evidence ran afoul of multiple DRPC rules mandating candor before the tribunal. I mean, again, Lin Wood has a pretty good defense here. Yeah, I got it from a guy, said he was an expert. He has qualifications listed with the affidavit. We submitted the affidavit trusting and relying on his data. Okay. Presumably, the Delaware court had not seen Wood's latest federal challenge to the rules of the upcoming Georgia Senate runoffs, in which he guaranteed plenty of perjury when he drafted his show cause order. These are the most annoying things, because like I'll have family members send me this stuff, and yeah, again, I think Lin Wood's cases have been bad cases. Well, I thought his original case was made some interesting arguments until I saw that he filed it on behalf of himself and lost due to lack of standing. I'm going to be honest. That was my initial reaction, where some of these arguments are pretty interesting. I hadn't seen the affidavits yet, and as soon as I saw the bad affidavit, we made fun of that. But obviously, this is a scrivener's error from penalty of perjury to plenty of perjury. And there was one that got made fun of a lot from Sidney Powell, where they had transposed Trump and Biden's names. So it looked like, oh, Sidney Powell's advocating for Trump. This stuff happens in lawsuits. Stuff happens in lawsuits. It just does. There are typos all over the place. You guys have sat with me reading documents. Even the best drafted documents will have a typo somewhere. Some sort of little thing. When you're writing a 100-page lawsuit in a couple days, a day, 2 days, you're going to have mistakes. So this is obviously, this wouldn't matter. Like plenty of perjury. No one thinks that an attorney is certifying perjury in their own document. Again, it's just obviously a typo, okay? And typos happen. They don't have anything. They don't have any tangible effect on cases 99% of the time, especially when they're obvious. Okay. Mr. Wood has until January 6th to explain to the court why he should be permitted to remain on Carter Page's case. Meanwhile, Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel said on a call with reporters that she will be investigating what we believe to be an intentional misrepresentation by Sidney Powell in her Michigan KRAKEN litigation. So Sidney Powell is also being targeted here. Sidney Powell is also being targeted. 1 second. Sorry, my phone was going crazy and I was making sure it wasn't Lady Raggets. I think we need to go back to a time where you can trust an attorney is making an accurate and truthful representation of the court. Because if they don't, then they won't be able to practice law anymore, Nessel said, according to Forbes. Does anybody think that this time existed any differently than now? Does it, I mean, like, the legal profession is derided into the ground as a den of liars. And largely, I agree with that sentiment. Largely, I agree. I've said over and over, I don't like lawyers. I think lawyers are terrible people. But this is the gag. That, oh, lawyer lied to the court. Well, yeah, of course they did. That's the gag, right? That they always do. So I don't know what time they're talking about. Bad Vibe says, what remedies does Lin have? His remedy is to stay on the case by just telling the judge why he should stay on the case, which is, I didn't break any rules in Delaware, and I haven't been disciplined in any other jurisdiction related to the issues that you bring up. So, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. Socialism is for Fig says, Nick, if you are such a skilled lawyer, why don't you lend those skills to the Trump team or Lin? I'm sure they would not mind the help. Who said I was such a skilled lawyer? But two, they likely do not want my help. They have far more qualified people than me. And getting too many lawyers on the team will actually bog everything down. They hired quite a bit of competent counsel, so I don't know what I would offer to them. Plus, I'm not licensed in any jurisdiction that they are fighting. So that wouldn't be very useful either. Yeah. If they want my opinion, though, I'll gladly give it to them. I don't think their lawsuits have been great for the most part. Thought the Texas lawsuit was the best one. I thought the Pennsylvania Congresspeople's lawsuit was a good one. But, you know, other than that, I don't know. I'm also probably way too fatalistic. Because I've said basically from the get-go that I didn't think any judge is going to overturn election results. So, But yeah, if they want me to just like read their documents to them and make fun of them, I can do that. But again, I think Nessel here is overstating, Attorney General Nessel is overstating the good old days of law where no one ever lied to the court. People lie to the court all the time. Lawyers for the city of Detroit have reportedly given Powell 21-day notice of their intention to ask the court for Rule 11 sanctions for her conduct in the Michigan suit, so Powell may be facing challenges on multiple fronts in the Great Lakes state. Later, Nessel spokesman Ryan Jarvie added, professional litigators should know better than to waste the court's time with baseless arguments designed to mislead the public, and we will consider filing grievances against those who violated the rules of professional conduct all attorneys swear to abide by. Godspeed, Michiganders and muskrats. It's time to clean this shit up. Listen to how mad these people are that Lin Wood and Sidney Powell dared to exercise their right to bring suit for alleged grievances, especially when they did it on behalf of clients. I mean, you can say what you will. I've not been very impressed with Lin Wood or Sidney Powell. Their cases have all basically sputtered out and had nothing happen. There were lots of weird, defective things in their cases, and I will be forgiving and say a lot of that is probably due to the time crunch. But that being said, there are also just bad arguments in the cases. For example, Sidney Powell had tons and tons of stuff in the Georgia KRAKEN lawsuit about the Venezuelan election, which would have no bearing on a Georgia election case. I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to draw a parallel between the two, between the obvious fraud that happened down in Venezuela and the fraud that they were alleging up in Georgia. The problem is, even if everything they said about Venezuela was true, it doesn't mean there was fraudulent activity in Georgia. That's a logical problem with the argument. And it's an especially big legal problem with the argument. I pointed that out. I would have cut that section from the case, but it's not my case. And I get why they put it in there. I think they were more concerned with getting that information public than they were about it affecting the case. So that's why they did it. And that's okay so long as they believed it would also impact the case. But, that being said, I haven't been super impressed. I've not been singing their praises for their prowess or anything like that. But this is a bit farther than just saying they've screwed up sometimes, they've filed some bad cases or whatever. This is saying they now need to be punished. They need to be punished. And this is where I'm getting with this. We are now at an age. We're at an age and a time where a lawyer publicly involving themselves with a case that has any level of profile at all is taking on a massive amount of risk. Reputational risk, brand risk, retaliation risk from the internet. Ty Beard's firm got some shit because of their representation of Vic, for example. Now, take that. So you take active fans of Vic Mignogna involved in the lawsuit. And I'll confidently say, you've got low five figures, 10, 20,000 people who are really involved. And then out of that number, you're going to get some sort of amount of them that are, negative, and then a percentage of those who are willing to do something ridiculous, like file an ethics complaint or try and report them to the media or something weird. And some of that stuff did occur, obviously. Ramp the number of involved people up to whatever subsection of 75 million people who voted for Biden is. Getting yourself involved in a presidential election getting yourself involved in the legal process subjects you to a whole lot of crazy. And with social media, it's worse because it's easier. And reputations are much more susceptible to social media. And speaking of reputations, guys, if you like these streams, make sure you hit like. Go ahead and tell creators what you like and what you don't like. Tell YouTube what you like as well. It will help us as creators. Make sure when you're watching other people's content, more than mine even, that you go ahead and support your creators with likes. Like, I know not everybody can pay a content creator. You're not going to pay everybody that you watch, whatever it may be. Those likes and comments and interaction mean the world to us. They really do. Our channels survive and fail based on that interaction. That can kick us up and down the algorithm. It can be the difference between a video getting noticed by people and a video just going quietly away. So make sure you hit like if you like the streams. Hit like if you like shows that other people are putting out. It does help us. Okay, so there is that. There is that. That's the reputational plug. But I have a policy not to like your videos until you agree to take a shot at 1,000 likes. Oh, I'll take a shot at 1,000 likes. That's all you want? That's all you want? You want me to drink liquor at 1,000 likes? Of course I'll do that. Jeez. Twist my arm, why don't you? So then, okay. Okay. My point in all this is we're getting to a nasty place socially. We already have been. But this is getting to be, I don't know how to say it. This is getting to be a real problem. We saw this, right? We saw this with other attorneys on these Trump election cases. They were bullied and intimidated. The Lincoln Project, right? Doxing attorneys and their families or whatever. You know, for the sole purpose of them daring to take a case in support of Trump. This is a scary time. Lawyers are not liked. And exposing them to the world when they do something that a whole bunch of people find unpopular, even if the others do find it, you know, if many other people find it popular, it doesn't matter. It's a real risk. But I don't know where I'm going with this. I wanted to tell the story of Lin Wood. I wanted to talk about how we're getting to this point where everything is so ramped up and everyone is so wound up that everything's a powder keg. And it's kind of terrifying. It's kind of terrifying. Like, imagine that you say something online and then you got a crazy guy trying to murder you. Admit Trump lost, you coward? Where have I said anything other than that literally since the election stream when the numbers started switching? Once the numbers started going. What the fuck have you been watching? Oh my God. Okay. Guys, I can't win, right? I can't win. Here's how this has gone. here's how the election coverage has gone. Okay? So I cover the thing, the election. Then I cover some of the election lawsuits. And I say, I don't think this is going to work because a judge isn't going to overturn this. So it's probably not going to happen. Then the chat yells and screams at me about not trusting the plan or not doing anything. This is early on. Then as these cases go on, I'm like, well, this case is kind of interesting, but I still don't think a judge is going to overturn anything. And there might be this problem or this problem. And the chat less enthusiastically screams at me and says, hey, you know what? You're just doom pills are stupid and you don't know. And then as it progresses, it's like, okay, just stop covering the election stuff because, even if there is all this fraud or whatever, no one's going to ever hear it. Like the judges just aren't going to listen and nothing's going to happen. And then as each of those lawsuits like actually sputter out and lose, then what happens is I get comments about how I was wrong because I said Trump was going to win. And I'm like, what the hell when did that happen? Where did I do that? I didn't. You know what would have been nice? If I did. If I just rah-rahed Trump all the way, I could have made a ton of money doing that. I could have just grifted, which I should. I'm the grifting king. I should have done it. I could have just grifted views and subscribers by going, Trump will win. Trump's definitely going to win. Look at this. Look at this new report out of whatever city. Ballots are being overturned. Could have done it. Didn't do it. Decided not to. Pissed everybody off. And then afterwards, I get shit on for saying that Trump was going to win. It's like, I didn't though. I didn't do it. Anyway. Oh my goodness. You can't win. Can't win. All right, let's do this one. Here's how Trump can still win. Are you with me, boys? And it has nothing to do with the election at all. Am I going to DC on the 6th? No. For the love of Christ, no. All right. Here's how Trump can actually win, but not the election. Trump is now in one of the most interesting times of a presidency, and it is the lame duck time. What? It is this time when his he has an unexpected amount of power to mess with things, even though he's likely on the way out. So here we go. Trump throws COVID relief bill in doubt by asking Congress to amend it. This is updated today, 12:35 p.m. Eastern. This is not the veto that Trump did today of the Defense Authorization Act. That one we'll probably talk about in a little bit, but that one he has said over and over he was going to veto it until they decided to put Section 230 in it. And take Section 230 out of law is what I should mean. Or what I should have said. Because that's what he wants. He wants him to remove Section 230. He wants him to do it in the Defense Authorization Act. But he didn't. But this is different. This is a COVID relief bill. Which is the NDAA, they will probably override Trump's vote or veto. They'll probably override his veto because the NDAA always passes because it's defense spending and a bunch of pet projects for congressmen. So that one's going to probably be overridden. What is going on? Guys, give me just a second. I am sorry. All right, sorry about that, guys. Oh, I just kept seeing my 5-year-old running up and down the stairs out the door, and I'm like, what is this? It's midnight. Go to bed. All right. Back to it. Back to it. President Donald Trump on Tuesday said he's asking for changes to the coronavirus relief bill passed by Congress, leaving the future of the $900 billion stimulus in doubt. It's not a $900 billion stimulus. It's not. Trump's position could threaten to torpedo the carefully drafted bill, which his own administration helped negotiate, a move that could lead to a government shutdown and send the economy into a tailspin if he carried through with a veto. Go ahead and do it. Do it. Do it. Veto it. I'm asking Congress to amend this bill and increase a ridiculously low 600. It's not enough. Not enough. 600. What is that? One set of Kentucky Fried Steaks or whatever? No. To 2,000 or 4,000 per couple. Trump said in a video released on Twitter. I'm also asking Congress to immediately get rid of the wasteful and unnecessary, we don't need them, items in this legislation, or to send me a suitable bill. The extraordinary message came after he largely left negotiations over the measure to lawmakers and his Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin. Trump did not explicitly threaten to veto the bill, but said he was dissatisfied with its final state. A few months ago, Congress started negotiations on a new package to get urgently needed help to the American people. It's taken forever, he said in the video. However, the bill they are now planning to send back to my desk is much different than anticipated. It really is a disgrace. Still, Trump's message appeared to be greeted favorably by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who tweeted, Republicans repeatedly refused to say what amount the president wanted for direct checks. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Trump over and over say $2,000? Didn't he over and over say $2,000? Like, I've heard $2,000 before today. At least the president has agreed to 2,000. Democrats are ready to bring this to the floor this week by unanimous consent. She said, let's do it. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, as Rush would call him, however, tweeted, we're glad to pass more aid Americans need, but stressed that Trump needs to sign the bill to help people and keep the government open. Maybe Trump can finally make himself useful and get Republicans not to block it again, he said. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. CNN has reached out to the offices of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. Multiple sources told CNN that the president's message isn't going to prompt a renegotiation of the measure, which passed with big veto-proof majorities. At the moment, the hope among some on Capitol Hill is that Trump won't veto the bill since he never explicitly said he would. House Democrats he should. Do it. Veto it. Make them own it. Make them own it. Bad vibes. It says, wait, there was a time when lawyers were trustworthy. It also says, imagine a judge using out-of-jurisdiction issues to punish you. Yeah, don't have to imagine it. That's what they're trying to do right now to Lin Wood. And judges have tried similar things before, but we'll see. CJ says, here's the new plan. You, Uncivil, and Ty set up a grandstand on the outskirts of the 6th of January assembly. Camera facing the doors to the Capitol. Live stream while drinking all the civil rights violations in real ESPN style. Okay, that would be pretty funny. I just don't really want to be anywhere near DC on the 6th. I have children and a family and a house. I don't want to be stabbed or shot or anything like that. Bad Vibe says, carefully drafted. Someone needs to put down the glass tube and step away from the keyboard. And then Furosha with a big chat. Very big, huge chat, but nothing, no message for it. Thank you so much, Furosha, for doing that. Okay. House Democrats on Tuesday will try to pass a bill to increase direct payments by unanimous consent, though any one member can scuttle that effort. It's unclear what will happen when or if such a bill is blocked. Government funding runs out next Monday. When does Israel's funding run out, though? Or Sudan? Or gender identity panels in the Pakistan? When do those run out? When does that happen? Trump's statement was filmed by the White House and was not open to the press. Reporters did not have a chance to ask the president questions. It's unclear when the message was recorded. The president has in the past said he would sign the bill. And earlier Tuesday, the White House publicly defended the bill, but many of his allies have spoken out against the agreement passed. The White House did not respond to a request for comment. Following months of grueling negotiations, Congress had voted Monday evening to approve the far-reaching $900 billion COVID relief package aimed at delivering layers of financial support to Americans affected by the pandemic. Legislation includes payments of up to $600 per adult, enhanced jobless benefits of $300 per week, roughly $284 billion in Paycheck Protection Program loans. Wait a minute, are they going to do another PPP loan? Do I get to get one this time? $25 billion in rental assistance, an extension of the eviction moratorium, and $82 billion for schools and colleges. What about the rest, though? What about the rest? That's nowhere close to the whole relief package. Not even anywhere near it. We can finally report what our nation has needed to hear for a very long time. More help is on the way. What was the line from Reagan? The most terrifying thing an American can hear is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. It's amazing. And that's from Mitch McConnell. The deal was reached only after both parties relinquished some of their key demands, with direct stimulus checks proving to be a major sticking point throughout the negotiations. So the actual fucking checks are the problem? While Trump had told people around him he wanted the direct payments to be much higher, he did not suggest he was unwilling to accept the package containing the $600 amount, half the $1,200 amount approved in the first relief package, which some lawmakers had been pushing for this time. When a deal was struck between congressional leaders, Trump aides signed off believing the president was on board, though two officials said on Tuesday they did not believe he was walked through the package in detail. In fact, throughout his video message, Trump railed against several provisions that were actually part of the omnibus spending bill, not the COVID relief bill. It's called the COVID relief bill, but it has almost nothing to do with COVID, the president said at one point. While the omnibus spending bill, which appropriates money for all the federal agencies for the rest of the fiscal year, was combined with the stimulus deal, funds allocated to the omnibus bill don't mean less is available for the COVID relief bill. Right. No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter, though. White House aides expressed surprise and annoyance about Trump's video message Tuesday. Few advisors knew the president was even taping the 5-minute spot from the Garland-bedecked diplomatic reception room in the basement of the residence, and at least one White House official, Deputy Press Secretary Brian Morgenstern, told reporters an hour before the video posted that Trump had signaled his intent to sign it. After the video posted, aides scrambled to figure out what the president's official position on the legislation was and whether he was actually threatening to veto it. One official said Trump had been paying little attention to the negotiations surrounding the stimulus in recent days, focused almost exclusively on his futile attempts to overturn the election. He was not directly involved in the talks, leaving the task to Mnuchin, who praised the package in a statement Tuesday morning. Like many of his own aides, Republicans on Capitol Hill were not given heads up that Trump was going to rail against the stimulus bill. A GOP leadership aide told CNN no when asked if this was expected. Okay. Show of hands. It's been 8 months. 8 months since lockdown started. 9 months in some places. The government has shut down people's jobs. But they gave you, what, $1,800 a person? 1,800 with that's counting the 600 stimulus. 600 plus the 1,200. 15 days to slow the spread. Yes, we're now nine months into 3 weeks of flattening the curve. That's right. I know it's 1,200 was passed, and then we got another 600 coming. Right now, unless it gets vetoed. So, yeah. I guess. Just 9 months. That's $200 a month, y'all. I'm not a proponent of government giving people money. I would rather government not give people money and not take as much of their money. That's how I am. But if you're going to shut down the country, and I know the feds are going to try, well, we didn't, the states did. But the federal recommendation was for states to shut down. If you're going to recommend to states to shut down their economies, then you gotta compensate people. You just have to. Because it's not them losing out or, having some bad action or mistake or whatever. The government has shut down the ability to do business. And it affected everybody. Even if you didn't get shut down, something happened to so many people. They've had to have some sort of serious readjustment in their lives. And we're paying for all those school buildings still. All those school buildings get a lot of use right now. So that's coming too. That's fine. Just keep paying the school bills. My school district tried to raise the amount of money that we had to pay in taxes to pay extra for the school. Oh, we need extra money for the school. Nobody's even there. Nobody's even there. And they're like, well, it's for the teachers. Take the money you're putting into the building and put it to the teachers then. It's not my problem. It's not my problem. We get virtual snow days in New Jersey? Wait, how could there be a snow day? It's impossible. The teacher's broadcasting from their house. The students are broadcasting from their house. Oh. Okay, so anyway, I have in the title, Trump flexes on Congress. And this is one way he can do it. He can make shit annoying. And he should. That's my firm belief. Bad Vibe says, until Trump says he will, he hasn't said it. Yeah, he should make it annoying for Congress. He really should. Use the leverage that he has. Now, another thing that happened that I want to talk about. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Really? Ted Cruz. Oh, God, I hate going to red state. Bang up job on your website. Fucking terrible website. Ted Cruz has an idea that Trump needs to execute now. Okay, so this is something a little bit different. And again, this is one of those things where Trump has the ability to flex on Congress and on everybody, and he should. And Ted Cruz points this out. As Streef pointed out yesterday, barring some Deus Ex Machina moment, what's left of Joe Biden will be sworn in at the end of January. Despite the smell of fraud in the air and an incredibly unfair media environment where blatant censorship of damaging Biden stories took place, current reality must be faced. Given that, what Trump does next may be the most important stretch of his presidency. Now, Trump has been doing stuff like this during his pregnancy. During his pregnancy, when he's going to birth, an Alzheimer's-addled Joe Biden into the as his successor. No, during the presidency, Trump has been playing a long game. He's been doing things like, appointing federal judges and all of that stuff. He may have a big play on the census. We'll see what he ends up doing with that in January, right before Joe is inaugurated, and that'll be funny. And yeah, he has the potential to veto a bunch of bills and make Congress work extra hard for it, which he should do. But this is another one. Here's Ted Cruz's idea. Last night, I urged POTUS to submit the Iran deal and Paris Agreement to the Senate as treaties. By submitting these disastrous deals to the Senate, we can provide advice and consent if a future administration attempts to revive them. Read my letter. Well, let's do so, Ted. Let's read your stupid letter. Dear President Trump and Secretary Pompeo, the Constitution grants the Senate a significant, unique, and indispensable role in developing American foreign policy through treaties. Specifically, Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2 provides that the President shall have the power, by and with the advice and the consent of the Senate, to make treaties provided 2/3 of the senators present concur. Multiple previous administrations, however, have undermined the Senate's constitutional role by negotiating significant international agreements and then refusing to submit them to the Senate for its advice and consent. Most recently, and most egregiously, President Obama refused to submit either the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the Iran deal, or the United Nations Paris Climate Accord, Paris Agreement, to the Senate as a treaty. Okay? These agreements could and should have been submitted as treaties given their sweeping scope and immense implications for American foreign and domestic policy. The Paris Agreement, for example, was lauded as the most ambitious climate change agreement in history. The Iran deal, meanwhile, was situated as the most consequential foreign policy debate that our country has had since the invasion of Iraq. This is why numerous senators demanded that Obama administration submit both agreements to the Senate for advice and consent. 34 senators co-sponsored a resolution expressing the sense of Congress that the president should submit the Paris Climate Change Agreement to the Senate for its advice and consent. Because Obama refused to do so, Senator Risch, the current chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, later issued a joint statement with Senator Carpo, stating there are many reasons the Paris Climate Accord was a bad deal. Not the least of which is that it was agreed to unilaterally by the Obama administration, violating our Constitution's requirement that all treaties be passed by 2/3 vote of the Senate. Similarly, in an interview addressing the Iran deal, Senator Risch said that President Obama needed to submit it to the U.S. Senate for ratification of the Constitution. It was a treaty. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't have to be a treaty. Heads of state, specifically the federal executive, can make an agreement with other heads of state. It's called an executive agreement, and it has the same power and effect of a treaty. And it's not unconstitutional for that to happen. That's just part of the executive power and being the sole organ of foreign relations. So they can do it. However, what I don't know, how much of a monkey wrench it throws into the mix to have something that could be an executive agreement sent in as a treaty. That might be a different problem. So that's kind of funny. The only reason the Obama administration refused to submit these agreements to the Senate as treaties was that it knew that the agreements were deeply unpopular and doomed for defeat. Then Secretary of State John Kerry was shockingly candid about this end run around the Senate's constitutional prerogative. When asked by Rep. Ribble of Wisconsin why the deal was not considered a treaty, he replied, "I spent quite a few years trying to get a lot of treaties through the United States Senate, and frankly, it's become physically impossible. That's why, because you can't pass a treaty anymore." That wasn't a good John Kerry impression. The same was true for the Paris Agreement. New York Times in 2014 reported that the Obama administration is working to forge a sweeping international climate change agreement to compel nations to cut their planet-warming fossil fuel emissions, but without ratification from Congress, because there was no chance that the Senate would ratify a climate change treaty in the near future. The Obama administration attempted to justify its decision to sideline the Senate by structuring the agreements in a way that allowed it to publicly assert that the agreements were not legally binding and therefore not treaties subject to the Senate's advice and consent, even though an Obama-era State Department legal memorandum determined the Paris Agreement does contain legally binding obligations that would apply to the United States. And then President Obama himself contextualized the Iran deal by saying that as was true in the previous treaties, it does not resolve all problems, but this strategic restructuring is itself a significant threat to the separation of powers and the Senate's constitutional role in foreign affairs. As the nonpartisan Congressional Research Service wrote in a canonical 2001 study of the treaty power prepared for the United States Committee on Foreign Relations. Here's the quote from that. We're almost done. I know this is thick, and it's because Ted Cruz wrote it. His letters have footnotes. Come on, Ted. Just send him a bunch of, cryptic symbols, a picture of you with a beard, and a slice of bacon wrapped around the barrel of a gun that you just fired on full auto. The main threat of erosion of the Senate treaty power comes not from the international agreements that are submitted as treaties, however, but from the many international agreements that are not submitted for its consent. In addition to concluding hundreds of executive agreements, presidents have made important commitments that they considered politically binding, but not legally binding. Maintaining the Senate role in treaties requires overseeing all international agreements to assure that agreements that should be treaties are submitted to the Senate. Simply put, a president does great damage to the separation of powers if he arrogates the treaty power entirely to himself by altering the terms of an agreement so that most or all the provisions are not legally binding, even as they politically and practically commit U.S. to a course of action opposed by Congress. Your administration has rightly changed course as a matter of substantive policy by withdrawing from both the Iran deal and Paris Agreement. This is a great accomplishment for the American people. I urge you now also to remedy the harm done to the balance of powers by submitting the Iran deal and the Paris Agreement to the Senate as treaties. Only by so doing will the Senate be able to satisfy its constitutional role to provide advice and consent in the event any future administration attempts to revive these dangerous deals. Okay, so Trump is yes, Angry Baneling. It's certainly the chat not hitting like. It's definitely not my narcolepsy and the fact that I'm having all sorts of issues with the season change. You're right. You're right. Okay. So what Ted Cruz is hoping here is that they can get these things submitted as treaties. And get them submitted as treaties, and then once they do that, they will then be able to just say no to them. That the Senate will override and say, no, we don't provide consent to it. And then the president can't enter into a treaty. Now, does that prevent him from entering into the same executive agreements? Probably not. Okay? Probably not. Because the president can enter into these agreements and Congress can't really stop him from doing that. However, what it can do is it can set up a split between the Congress and the presidency, which is a political move. If the Paris deal and the Iran deal are both politically unpopular, it's good to know, it's good for the American people to know that the Senate is opposed to it, even if the president is not. That's something that should be out there. And setting up that political divide may actually be very, very important for the narrative of things, if not the practical effect. But that is this story. There's nothing really much to say about it beyond that. It all goes into the Trump flexing on Congress idea, which he should do. Trump has been issuing a couple pardons. Trump still has pardoned less people than I believe any president, maybe in history, certainly in modern history. Pardoned less people than Obama, less than Bush, less than Clinton, less than other Bush. So that's good. The pardons that he's doing are pissing people off dramatically. Like, he's pardoning his allies, as if other presidents don't pardon their allies. Of course they do. Pardons are a political tool of the president. And it's a plenary power, plenary authority. It's unquestionable. It's unquestioned. The only question is, can a president pardon himself? We don't know about that. Trump cannot pardon the Floyd cop because that's a state crime. So the president of the United States can only issue a pardon for a federal crime. But yeah, it's the only question as far as federal crimes are concerned is, can a president pardon himself? And that we don't know. That one probably not, but just about everybody else. And so he has pardoned Roger Stone, General Flynn, one of the Kushners, pardoned quite a few people that he knows, and that's fine. Again, pardons are a political power. They're as much to make statements as they are to actually affect the pardon. And presidents have used them for all sorts of reasons. But yeah, you can. Yes, the answer to the unasked question is, can a president pardon his friend who did something illegal? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Chris Hill, don't do that. Don't do that. Bush pardoned the guy that Cheney shot. Nice. Nice. Okay, I've got one more thing to talk about. This one shouldn't take too long. We'll probably wrap up the stream. Had it on my phone. I have to grab the headline or whatever. Okay, here we go. This one's a little more serious. Whoops. All right. Okay, here we go. Shut up. Dr. Birx, Dr. Deborah Birx, has announced that she plans to retire after being outed on Sunday for not following her own travel guidance. calling the experience overwhelming. In an interview with Newsy, the White House Coronavirus Task Force coordinator said she would help the incoming Biden administration, but then planned to head for the exits. I want the Biden administration to be successful, Birx said, noting that she had been working in the federal government since the Reagan administration in 1980. Get out. You shouldn't be in government that long. I'll be helpful in any role that people think I can be helpful in, and then I will retire. I will have to say, as a civil servant, I will be helpful through a period of time, and then I will have to say, this experience has been a bit overwhelming. It has been very difficult on my family. I think what was done over the last week to my family. Oh, are you mad about what people did to your family? What about what you did to theirs? What about what you did to theirs? The infectious disease expert, 64, was outed on Sunday for not following her own travel guidance when she was joined by 3 different generations of family at one of her vacation properties on Fenwick Island in Delaware the day after Thanksgiving. One of her... The Ivory Tower-isms. The Ivory Tower-isms. One of her vacation properties. Texas Red says, you meet a man in the Oregon Trail. He tells you his name is Terry. Terry, you say, laughing. Terry's a girl's name. Without any hesitation, Terry pulls out a gun and shoots you dead. You've died of dysentery. So one of her, just one of her vacation properties on a fucking island. She was roundly criticized for not following her own orders after publicly urging Americans in the days leading up to Thanksgiving to limit gatherings to your immediate household. CDC and Prevention has also warned Americans not to travel over the holidays, had discouraged indoor gatherings involving members of the different households as infection rates continue to soar. Birx, who is an internationally recognized AIDS researcher, has been pursuing a role in the incoming Biden administration, according to the AP. But in Newsy interview, Birx indicated she had changed her mind due to the intense focus on her personal life. Oh man, it's really sad that people decided to look into your personal actions while you were sitting. While you are sitting, looking at the actions of everyone else. The personal actions of everyone else. Think what was done in the past week to my family. You know, they didn't choose this for me. They've tried to be supportive, but to drag my family into this. My daughter hasn't left that house in 10 months. My parents have been isolated for 10 months. They become deeply depressed, as I'm sure many elderly have, as they've not been able to see their sons, their granddaughters. What have you done? My parents have not been able to see their surviving son for over a year. These are all very difficult things, she added. What have you done? What have you done to us? You people did this. Here's another one about her. She took Thanksgiving trip after her parents stopped eating. Her parents were so down in the dumps they stopped eating and drinking. A justification ripped by people who said it was her coronavirus restrictions that prevented them from seeing their own dying loved ones. My parents stopped eating and drinking because they were so depressed, the 64-year-old complained. Let's see. My dad died of COVID surrounded by people in hazmat suits he didn't understand. My mom couldn't visit him. She's depressed. Birx's parents felt depressed. I'm sorry. She still has one parent surplus over my sister and me, he wrote. Peg Manley tweeted, my mother died in March. We still haven't buried her. Birx hasn't a clue, Manley wrote. We've all gone without family, without celebrations. Oh, I haven't because I'm a dick and I'm not stupid. This stuff matters. This stuff matters. Human contact, it matters. The masks matter. All this shit matters. The amount of damage being done to people is incalculable. It's incalculable. We won't know it. We won't know it for decades. For decades. And these fucking people want us to feel sorry for them. Bad Vibe says, take out the trash to the burn barrel. Anyway, this is, of course, just another example, right? It's just the latest hypocrisy. You guys can't do this. Well, I can do it because I have an exception, right? You guys can't travel. No one should travel. We're not traveling. Oh, well, suddenly I have an exception. Well, now I have a reason I have to travel. Yeah, so did everybody else. So did everybody else who you demanded to stay home, who states implemented fines to force them to stay home, made it criminalized to travel, to visit people, to go to a gathering. Whether people had symptoms of COVID or not. Criminalized everything. Fuck you. Piss off. You know what's funny? She did the libertarian thing, right? That's what she did. She said, okay, I know these are the rules. I've set these rules. I'm following these rules voluntarily. Something comes along where the prioritization of that something is higher than the rule. Well, now I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to do it responsibly, blah, 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 blah. Yes! Yes, that's the bad thing is she didn't do anything wrong. She did something hypocritical. That's the trick here. I fully advocate her going to see her parents, especially if they're depressed. Go see them. Everybody should. Everybody should go back to being normal. Look, if you're a risk factor for COVID, don't go out. There you go. Voila. If you're a giant risk factor, don't go out. If you're worried about getting sick, don't go out. When you do go out, don't go licking everybody. Like, just don't do that. Wash your hands. Wear a mask because you want to. Or because it makes you, less likely to get sick or something. Not because the government's trying to make you. That's the shitty thing. If they would just ask instead of demanding it, people would be more compliant. Anyway, I don't know what else to say, man. I'm just so sick of these people. I'm sick of this shit. The hypocrisy of it is so damn annoying. Because it's just... She did what I would do. My parents got sick. Like, not COVID sick. If my parents got so depressed that they wouldn't eat, I would go visit them immediately. I would try and cheer them up. I would bring them up to my house. I would do something. The idea that we need to divorce ourselves from the rest of, not from society, because society can eat a dick for all I care, but from the people you like and you care about, I'll violate orders all day. Come after me. I am Pinhead says, got a job offer today after almost 9 months of unemployment. Small token of my appreciation for the streams in the meantime. Hey, thank you. Thank you. I hope the job works out for you. Hey, what's up, Camelot? How you doing, buddy? We have got to get together and get drunk. We've got to do it sometime soon. Oh my God. No, I've not seen the lawsuit against Gavin Newsom. No, I'm not going to talk about Eric Swalwell banging the weird Chinese spy. And then a lawsuit that I need to talk about. Maybe I'll get something out on it tomorrow. Andy No, the reporter, has has moved past the dismissal stage of his lawsuit against Antifa. So that is awesome. Diamond Duck has asked if I'm streaming the next 2 days. Yes. Yes. Ty Beard will join me tomorrow. Vic lawsuit. There's nothing to talk about with the Vic lawsuit. There's just nothing happening. Ty Beard will join me tomorrow for a Christmas Eve stream. I'm not entirely sure what we'll be talking about. Ty had proposed a show to me the other day to talk about how to handle difficult clients, like what that's like, and kind of maybe some war stories and insight on handling difficult clients. I don't know if we'll do that tomorrow or if we'll just be having a good time talking about Christmas, talking about family. We might have a nice, a family stream or whatever. Ty Beard and the Beard family will be playing Call of Cthulhu tomorrow on Twitch prior to my show. Okay? Sci-Fi for Me TV, yes. We talked about Meyer Vs Waid yesterday. Prior to my show on Twitch, I think Unlikely Beard is the elder Beard daughter. They will be doing the Call of Cthulhu tabletop game. Ty will be running it, and they will be playing on Twitch, so you guys can actually watch that if you want. I have been invited, however, Christmas Eve is a day traditionally reserved for my family. As part of our tradition in the evening is to get together with the kids, watch a movie, have a bunch of snacks, and spend kind of the bedtime, the time before bedtime together. And then the kids go to bed, and then I'll be down to do my show at the normal time. So that's how that will go. But I encourage you guys to check out the Beard stream. I will link it when it's up, when it's going on tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, go follow the Beard daughter on Twitch, and yes, I'll probably be streaming Christmas night as well. I don't know what about. Figure something out. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. Let's see. Nova Zero says, just to mess with Andy, no, I promise that people peaceably assemble, then inflict ungodly but legal amounts of violence all over Antifa and render his lawsuit moot. Or I propose that. Merry Christmas, Andy, no, and to rest of Zawarudo. Okay. Very good. Well, that's about it, guys. I think her Twitch name is Unlikely Beard. If I send you a link to my church's Christmas Eve service, will you check it out tomorrow? I mean, I guess. I don't know. Maybe. Is it Unlikely Beard? Let me see if I can find. Yeah, here it is. All right. I'm going to put it in chat. Here's the Unlikely Beard Twitch stream. Make sure you check it out tomorrow for Call of Cthulhu. Should be fun. Am I doing Twitch tonight? Yes. Yes. Sin says, when are you going to go back to watch parties on Twitch? The gameplays are boring. Ouch. Cutting me deep, fam. I don't know. Probably pretty soon. I've got to come up with a good schedule. That's what I should do. I should have like 2 days of watch party, 3 days of gameplay, and then 3 days of watch party, 2 days of gameplay. We'll figure it out. But tonight I will be playing. You know, I'm still digging Ranger Spencer on Skyrim, so I'll be doing that. So come join me for that in just a little bit. Oh my gosh, it's early. It's 12:50. I thought it was later than that. But Cyberpunk, why? What? I'm just not really super pumped for Cyberpunk. I don't know. I've played it a little bit and I'm having trouble getting to care about it. Not a movie tonight, MoFoQ. But we'll probably do movies really soon. I gotta get back into looking what ones are there. There's some good stuff. So you make your e-thought persona in Cyberpunk. Okay. I'm gonna read the chats. We're gonna wrap up the show. I said it'd probably be a little bit shorter today. But yeah. We'll do that. And then tomorrow we'll have Mr. Tiebeard on. Yeah. That's about it, guys. All right. Here we go. Mario Carter 13 says, this country is doomed not just because of African Americans, but when whites become a minority, y'all blacks will have to battle the Latinos for dominance. Joe Basement Biden. What? That's not a quote from Joe Biden. Martin Bettik says, my name is Martin Bettik. I support the abuse of women and think minorities should be lynched. The best way to give an abortion is to shoot the prego in the head. Seems a little bit much. Okay. Biden said that? Oh, that's good. Elmo. Wait, is this in Elmo's voice?
Hi, Nick. I had the opportunity to try Lafroy 12 year today. Is there a whiskey that doesn't taste like I'm watching a dude get necklaced? I've had a nice smoky whiskey in the past that doesn't have the quarter-mile burnout flavor that I liked. Any suggestions?
That's disgusting. Yeah, if you don't like Lafroig, Lagavulin doesn't have the nasty sort of road tar taste. So I would prefer Lagavulin to Lafroig, personally. Otherwise, a Balmore is a little bit less smoky. I like the Balmore 15-year darkest, personally. Siren Jag says, tonight on KGW Evening News, tragedy struck at a local Portland business today. Millions of lives lost at Whole Foods as someone broke in and stole all the krill from their tanks. Massive beast seen by security screaming through baleen plates. Nick? I guess it was it Tucson? Crusader Saracen says, by Allah, the Lincoln Project deserves nothing but the sword on their necks. He also says, important question. Popeyes, churches, or KFC? Popeyes. Also, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Hope these donos help you buy presents for your kids, unlike that OnlyFans whore in England. Yes, they do. Thank you. Lemoyne says, Nick will get to that comment on the OCC proposed rule with the same timing as that amicus support brief. Rude. Crusader Saracen says, the GOP isn't cruising for a bruising in Georgia. They're cruising for a drive-in movie date with Chris Brown for at least the next few elections, if Trump doesn't just gut them entirely by forming his own populist party and siphoning off their vote base. Yash Ken says, yo, Nick, when you forgot to turn off the stream last night, another guy and I sent in some super chats. Oh, thank you. Again, happy holiday to you, your family, and to each and everyone here. Enjoy the time with your family, and COVID can screw off. Crusader Saracen says, it's unchristian of me to say, I acknowledge this, but I hope Deborah Birx dies in a fucking car fire and her family watches. She can eat shit and go to hell. Subtle. Crusader also says, here's some extra for that last one. I'll make sure to repent to God later, but this pisses me off. In a just world, we would be well past tarring and feathering at this point. Yashken says, hey, how about Monday and Wednesday are gaming, Tuesday and Thursday are watch parties, and Friday be a vote/toss-up? Sold. There you go. Monday and Wednesday are gaming, Tuesday and Thursdays are watch parties, and Fridays is a vote/toss-up. Today was a Wednesday. I still consider it Wednesday, even though it's Thursday now. So tonight will be a video gaming. Bad Vibe says, hey, Nick, I heard the DOD want you to help design their new aircraft carrier. They say your nose has the right surface area and profile to model a carrier after. Thanks, Bad Vibes. Superstitious Oblivious B says, put me in the game, coach. Biden said I'm ready for the major leagues. Okay. Uriah Wright says, Nick, your hair isn't mutated anymore. It is still. Adrian Valladares says, just a reminder that Nick got cucked out of being Drexel's first guest on his show. Damn. Mario Carter 13 says, yearly mortality reminder makes you sad each year. No, I don't think so. Superstitious Oblivious B says, Nick, I love the way you did your hair yesterday. It made your nose look bigger. Tabletop Joe says, may the Lord fill you and your family's hearts with peace, harmony, and happiness this Christmas. Have a merry one and a happy great reset. Hey, you too, Tabletop Joe. Dr. Teeth says, Drex and Nux stream when? I don't know. Rational Redneck says, just your daily reminder that prison suicide has been over-reported in the media. Okay. Says, I mentioned I was going to be a sperm donor for lesbians last night. We were having a donor contract drawn up, and the non-biological parent will legally adopt. Well, good luck, buddy. Good luck. Mario Carter 13 says, Thoughtmas Day 13, having a baby to avoid prison time. Yeah, if you guys don't know, Drexel's show is up, the MGTOW podcast. And he's been doing the 12 Days of Thoughtmas, which is I believe it's a never before told story every night for 12 days. So, purportedly the stories are not stories he's told on this show. So go check it out. Vienticus Prime says, what obvious fraud in Venezuela? You mean the one where the opposing party decided not to run to make the elections appear legitimate? Yep. Fraud. So there you go. Ryan K says, so I'm going to have to repay a $1,200 loan that the government arbitrarily gave me even though I didn't sign for / didn't even want it. No, I don't know where you got that idea. You don't have to repay the stimulus that you got. No. Chuldo says, the unlikely beard is an unfortunate channel name. Billy the Kid Lawrence says, remind me to never reply to on Twitter to Dominique Sky ever again about Vic and appeals. She sicked law Twitter on me. It was hilariously dumb headache. Oh, dude. Every time they enter a conversation, I just go ahead and mute the conversation because I'm usually long gone from it. And my notifications will just be pages and pages of inane idiocy. And I don't have any tolerance to deal with it. Yeah. You should never talk to Dominique Sky anyway, because she's a whore. Bad Vibe says, how about some Christmas related lawsuits? Maybe. Sky Hime says, I was wondering where you knocked out. I was hoping it was just outside your bedroom. And did you read the super chats with CHAIR-KUN? He didn't speak very loudly. No, I literally fell asleep in my chair just like that right after. Like I hit the outro, I hit the blank, and which turns the screen black, and then I muted the microphone, and then I passed out. Because I always mute the microphone during the outro, otherwise you might hear me if I like sneeze or burp or something. That'd be weird. Ryan Case, no. Paycheck protection loans were a different program. That's what I was talking about. Okay, and finally, Crusader Saracen says, apologies, for the spicy donations. I shouldn't say these things. I know anger is a sin, but goddammit, it's hard not to be furious. Hope you and your family have a good Christmas. I really do. God be with you. Hey, you too, man. I get the whole anger thing. I get the whole anger thing. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out tonight. I'll see you over on Twitch in just a little bit. And yeah, have a good night. Peace. Peace. That is if I don't fall asleep.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along with his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight.
Can't believe you didn't get me to 1,000 likes where I could have drank a shot of whiskey.
We'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes madder, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the
you did it
better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an art bag, a bow, more a love rug. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear Lost Planning tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we are now. Oh, the guests are all planet folk from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear Lost Planning tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who